What's this I'm hearing in America? A state of martial law in Virginia because decent Americans are going to go to a pro-gun rally? You must be kidding. Your country was founded on the gun that freed you from tyranny. Madness. And they've just called a snap election in Ireland, giving nobody any chance of standing apart from the establishment parties. Absolutely ridiculous. And a banana republic would even be ashamed. What am I talking about? Watch me the Templar Report and I'll tell you all about it. I'll see you then. Hello again, Jim Dowson here, guest presenter with the Templar Report. I hope you're all keeping well, and I'm looking at news from across the pond to America, and I'm seeing some mad stuff going there. And I'm quite confused actually, because the part of America this mad stuff's going on used to be a really good place. So I've no idea what's happened. First of all, I'd like to give the boys in America a big shout out. They've been working really hard. They've even got, is it a highway named after us? Yeah, they've got a highway named after us, Knights Templar Boulevard or something like this. It's down in, is it Texas, Louisiana? Texas, it's in Texas. And our lads have been out keeping that place clean, looking after the highway and all the rest. And that's very good Templar work. Not everybody can run about and the desert of Syria fighting ISIS, but everything you do as a Templar to improve your community, to improve your fellow Christians' environment is very good. So, well done guys, well done indeed, and God bless the American lads over there, and especially our brothers in good old Texas. Now, we might have to get some Texan men up to Virginia soon, because listen to this, I can't believe this actually. Virginia governor issues a temporary state of emergency ahead of gun rights rally. Is it a gun rights rally for the Chinese or Russians or something? Most people in America who support gun rights, all people who support gun rights are patriots. Good, decent Americans, nearly all military men, people who defended America, people who I would suggest are the people responsible for keeping America safe enough that the governor could be in power. So I find this really strange. And Virginia's next to West Virginia, where my people come from and live. And Virginia used to be a good, solid state. I think I heard once in a documentary there was a load of overspill from Washington DC. Yeah, the trash, the political trash, moving into Virginia because it's cheap. Well, that's what happens then. It becomes crazy. So it says here, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam said firearms and other weapons will be banned on state capitol grounds in Richmond ahead of a gun rights rally on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. A temporary state of emergency is among several security precautions Northam said officials will take effect after law enforcement said it learned of threats of violence surrounding the rally that out-of-state militia groups and hate groups are expected to attend on Monday. Baloney! I tell you what he's heard. Black Lives Matter and these kind of Panther-type people were going to come and cause trouble with decent Americans. That's what he's heard. So rather than go and arrest the perpetrators and these violent communists, hooligans and Antifa thugs, who gets it? The good old boys, the decent Americans. They are held to this account for the violence threatened by other people. It's always the same. It's the same here. It's the same in Britain. The ban includes open and concealed firearms and other weapons like sticks, bats and chains, according to the emergency declaration order. Where was this order when Black Lives Matter were running about doing their crazy stuff? Where was this order when crowds were pulling down statues from the Civil War period? Where were these emergency laws then? Why had they been invoked in Portland, Oregon, where they black-clad legions of fanatical communists are rampaging through the town constantly? Every time I switch the telly on, it's Antifa running about Oregon. What's going on? The state of emergency comes as Virginia Citizens Defence League plans to use the rally in Richmond to bring attention to Second Amendment sanctuary and movement sweeping across the state. The group has been going to lobby day since 2003 to advocate for gun rights and haven't had any instance of violence or issues. So these people have been going there for 17 years, no aggro. So what's happened is the lefties have said, well, we're going to go and cause trouble. So they know if the police try and crack down on them, there might be a bit of bother. So they'll crack down on the decent, law-abiding Christian men and women of America who hold the Constitution dear. Because let's remember, folk, I'm an Ulster Scot. And I'm speaking to you right now from Britain, the UK. And I know how hard people fought to win those rights in America. And a lot of the people who fought were from this part of the world. And we fought the English, British, whatever you want to call them. We fought them because we've been hounded out of our homes in Scotland. We've been hounded out of our homes in Ireland. And we've been hounded out of our homes in England and Wales for being nonconformist Protestants. And we went to America, and the English or the British establishment started all this nonsense again. So, there's no other place left to go. So our forefathers fought like lions and won their freedom. And this constitution is really important. It's very important. It's vitally important. It's a sacred document. And you cannot allow your rights to be eroded like that, because you will end up like us in Europe. We have no guns. Therefore, now we have no rights. We used to live in a society where decency prevailed, and the judges and the legal system was very fair and very decent in most cases. Now our judiciary are a bunch of lefty liberals. They don't even make an attempt of hiding their bias now. They're totally open with it. They don't care who knows. Because what can anybody do? I mean, we voted for Brexit 3 years ago and we still don't have it. Because what can you do? Nothing. You can go on the street and you can shout and bawl. They don't care about that. But if men go on the streets with legally held weapons, then they know they can be held to account at any time. And if they try and use the forces of the law as we armed policemen or even soldiers, they know they're up against it because other people can fight back. So that's what they'll do. And if you think that your law enforcement agencies and troops won't act against the people, you're sadly mistaken. Some troops will walk away, but we had it here in Northern Ireland. In Northern Ireland, when the troops were sent in, and when people were trying to defend themselves from Marxist attacks, the same people, and I'm talking about the British people trying to protect themselves from Marxist attacks, the British Army turned on them and would shoot them just as quick as they would shoot the Marxists. So do not put much faith, because when push comes to shove, roughly 97% of people will follow rules and do what they're told. Only 3% are leaders. That's why you've got that movement in America, the 3%. 3% of people say, no, this is immoral, this is wrong, and I will not do it, even if my life is lost in the protest. But 97% will fall into line and do it. So be very careful. Do not, under any circumstances, give up your guns. I really need to reiterate that. Do not, while you have breath in your body, give up one gun or one bullet. The only time that should happen is when you're lying dead with a gun in your hand. Do not do it, because you'll not only condemn yourself to be a slave, you'll condemn your children and your grandchildren to slavery. Please believe me, as a European, I know, because we are slaves. Don't do it. Fight, and remember, God is on your side, so you have nothing to fear as long as you can fight. And if you have no guns, you won't be able to fight. So that's enough of that. I wish everybody in America all the very best for this. Keep an eye on it. We'll be keeping an eye on it. I know a lot of Templars are open carry guys. I would appeal to all Templars, if you're going there, go in good numbers. Keep within the law, but make sure you film everything. Make sure you keep a close eye on what's going on, because I don't trust any of these governors and these people now. We're in a state of war, but nobody's declared it yet. But it is war. So God be wise, and please, if anybody's got any footage or any reports, let us know and we'll certainly broadcast it. The other thing I just quickly need to mention is the Irish. The Southern Irish, they have just called a snap election. You won't believe this. You just won't believe this. 3 weeks. They announced on Tuesday. The election's going to be in 3 weeks. But the established parties, the corrupt ruling elites, were already putting the posters out 2 hours before they even announced the parliament. Honestly, it would give El Salvador a bad name. It's something you would imagine in some banana republic somewhere in some godforsaken corner of the globe. That's what the Irish have done, because the governments there are so corrupt. They've been a two-party system since they broke away from the British in the War of Independence. So it's been basically two parties. They've had it all their own way. They don't care. They're literally flooding Ireland with immigrants. Ireland today, as I speak, is approaching 1/3 foreign. There's whole swathes of Donegal, which is basically African. Rap gangs, gang rapes, shootings, drive-bys, all this stuff going on in places like Donegal. You couldn't believe it. Now, once you get into big cities like Limerick and Dublin, it's the same as the Bronx. It's the same as Watts or some of these ghettos in America. And it's all been hushed up. Nobody's talking about it. But now they plan, the government has actually admitted they're going to bring another 1 million in. Let me just remind people, the population of Ireland is not even 5 million. It's 4.5 million. And already 1 million of them are foreigners. So there's 3.5 million Irish people. In a few years' time, there'll be 3 million Irish people because they're all leaving. And there'll be 2 million Africans and Arabs. And I know a lot of people watching this are of Irish descent. Really, if you really love the old country, one thing, stop giving money to Sinn Féin, because they are one of the parties that's doing it. Sinn Féin are in all the councils for bringing in refugees. They're openly stating, whether it be Matt McGuinness or whether it be Gerry Adams. Just Google it. If you don't believe me, just Google it. They're standing there, refugees welcome. I welcome my African brothers. It's all there. And the reason that party exists is because you guys in America financed them in the 1970s and 80s and 90s. Stop giving them money. They are destroying Ireland quicker than Oliver Cromwell could have ever have dreamed of. So don't do it. But I wish all the parties, the nationalist parties, the patriotic parties in the Republic of Ireland, all the very best. How you can actually try and fight an election with three weeks' notice. And it's not just that. They have got to have their paperwork and everything in by Monday. So they announced the election on Tuesday there. By Monday, all the paperwork's got to be done, all the printing's got to be done, it's all got to be paid for. You know, millions of pounds worth stuff has got to be spent in like 6 days. You know. That's what the Irish are up against. So it's absolutely impossible for any Irish Patriot Party or small party to make an impact in this election. In human terms, in the flesh. But remember, we don't work in the flesh. We work in the flesh and the spirit. And people say this is impossible. I agree with them, 100%. But remember what this book tells us. This book tells us, with God, nothing is impossible. So I am not downbeat about it. I believe God will make an intervention and he will rise up amongst the Irish people a leader for the future. He will rise up men, and I mean men, who can take Ireland into the future boldly. But it's going to be a fight and it's going to be a struggle. So I would say to all Irish people, and it's an old Irish saying, get out and vote early and vote often. And may God bless the patriots and the nationalists who want to win the election and fight the election for the sake of Ireland and the decent and real, serious and indigenous Irish people. God be with you, and Erin go bra. I'll see you again on the Templar Report.
The threat is real, and we are on the front line. In a world of misinformation and attacks from the left and mainstream media, censorship, deplatforming, it is time to call out the fake news and bring you the truth. We are the Knights Templar. Visit our website and join today. We are the Resistance. Deus Vult.